Hello everybody, this is Steven coming to you once again through the power of the internet. And today we're going to be taking a look at a project that I actually have not talked about a lot in any of my various means of communication, we'll say, through the internet. And it is this. This is my USB wrapper. So another USB related project, similar to the USB isolator and whatnot that we've seen in the past. But this one I think is actually the most interesting, despite the fact that it is also going to be the most basic. It allows you to take a device, say a cell phone, plug it into the device side, plug a power source into the power side, and prevent any data from flowing between the two ports. So this isn't something that's new. I'm sure you guys have seen on various blogs and whatnot on the internet. You've seen the USB condom project, and that was a way to break the data connection lines, just to prevent any of those USB related attacks that are known, such as juice jacking or whatnot. By using one of the USB condoms, you could plug your device into an unknown power jack without fear that your device is going to be maliciously attacked in some way. So here we go. We'll just get a good shot of that before we continue on. But what you'll see though on my USB wrapper, which does take a lot of inspiration from the USB condom project, is that there's a bunch of resistors, some slider switches, and a bunch of markings on them. You'll see that it says dedicated charger port, Apple, Sony, open circuit, and then the second slider switch is a whole bunch of different Apple charger rates. So basically what's going on is that if you've got a device that you would like to have charged, a lot of these devices actually rely on those data lines though in order to communicate information between the charger and the device as to what acceptable charging rates there are, or what type of USB port it is. So for example, in the USB standard, this was a later ratification once people started using USB ports to charge devices, is that they created the dedicated charger port, which is the first option on this device. And to signify to a device that you are a dedicated charger port, which means no actual enumeration process can happen, is that the data lines should just be shorted together. So if you're breaking connection between the power side and the device side, right, between your device that you'd like to have charged, so for example, if you've got your cell phone, right, and you want to charge it, just imagine that there's a little USB cable right there. Apparently I have a notification going on too. If you want to charge this, right, and you've got then your Samsung Power Cube connected onto this side, by breaking those data lines, your cell phone is going to just see open circuits for the data plus and data minus, which means that it's going to have to assume that it's not an actual charger, and will then just take the minimum amount of power that it can then safely charge off of, which is 500 milliamps at 5 volts, so 2.5 watts of charging power. So this is the disadvantage to other projects like that only simply cut the data lines, right? You're not able to then charge your device at full speed, even if you've got a proper charging cube, right? So for example, this one, I believe this one is rated for 1 amp of output, right? So if you wanted to still maintain isolation between the two ports, right, so that no data can flow, because maybe you don't trust this little cube, for example. Right now, obviously, this is an official Samsung one, so you know that there's not going to be any funny business going on there. Or at least I certainly hope so. But what you would do is you would take my USB wrapper, you'd set it to the dedicated charger port, and then plug everything in. And what that'll do is that slider option setting right there, of the highest one, shorts the two data lines as seen by the device. So then it will set itself to draw its however much it is rated for. So I think I don't know if this is actually what the full speed charging rate is of a Galaxy Nexus cell phone, but it's going to be faster than 500. It's going to be, I'll use quotation marks around faster than 500 milliamps. Now, this isn't just for using the same branded of chargers though, and you want to go full speed. This is also very helpful if you have a Apple branded product. Okay, so this is my old iPhone 3G from when I was doing some app development, which I never ended up completely following through on, but here it is anyways. So let's say you've got a Apple device and you would like to use an off-brand charger. So for example, in this case, we've got the Samsung charger right here. Try to line this up a little bit more there for the camera. There we go. So we've got a Samsung charger right here and an Apple branded cell phone. So Apple, however, started to use USB charging prior to, at least I believe, prior to the actual specification being a thing. So they don't look for shorted data lines. They look for very specific voltages on those data lines, which are created through using resistor dividers. So we've got all the different types of resistor dividers present for all the different types of Apple chargers. So now what you can do with this device is plug your Apple cell phone into a Samsung Cube or say a BlackBerry charger or just a generic brand one, right? That's not necessarily designed for Apple, and still have a charge at full speed so long as your actual charger is capable of providing that much current. So the 3G, I believe at full speed, it draws, full speed again in quotation marks, it draws, I want to say 700, maybe 800 milliamps. Again, I'm just pulling these numbers there out of my arse. But what you do is you'd then be able to, or maybe it's 1 amp as I put on this silk screen right here, is what you would do is you'd set it to Apple on the top and then pick the type of charger that you would like to emulate. So you can emulate a 500 milliamp charger, a 1 amp, a 2.1 amp, or a 2.5 amp. And the later two were developed with the different iPads and whatnot later on in later years, well after the original 3G and the original iPhone prior to that. So you can then theoretically use like your own power supply that you've got lying around, or you're borrowing a friend's one, and you can charge at whatever rate you would like to charge at, right? So if you've got an iPad, which say normally you've got the latest one and it charges at 2.5 amps, it draws 2.5 amps of current. But let's say you've just got this one little Samsung Cube here, and it's only capable of providing 1 amp of current. So what you can do is you can just say, oh, I'll just set it, I don't want to draw at the minimum speed, so I'll just set it to Apple 1 amp. So in that way we're fully utilizing the capabilities of our charger, but even though it's not the maximum speed that the device could charge at, right? Because again, you don't want to be drawing more than your charger is capable of, or else it's just you're going to get all sorts of voltage sag, and it might overheat too. So that's what the USB wrapper does. It's pretty straightforward. It's just got a bunch of resistor dividers in it for some of the different brands. I also put in the Sony one. I'm not aware of which Sony devices in particular actually use these resistor dividers and don't just use the shorted out data lines. But I saw that it was a thing, so I included it. On the power side, we've got micro USB, and we've also got a footprint here for regular, the larger B-style USB connector. I just haven't soldered it in there. And then on the device side, we've got a standard USB-A port. So what you need is you just need 2 USB cables. You need your one to your device, and your one from your cube to your charger. So sometimes in some chargers that's hardwired in, and some of them are removable like this one. So this one's removable. The one that I have, the one BlackBerry one that I have, is hardwired in, so you can't remove it. So that way you can still use the charger with the board, with your device, whatever combinations you want, you can use it. Anyways, I hope you guys found this video interesting. If you think that this board might be useful to you, let me know in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions, maybe different things, if you don't like how, maybe there's a certain feature that you're also looking for in addition to this, I'm going to be selling these shortly on my website. I just have to adjust the silk screen a little bit here so that they line up properly with the switch positions. And of course, it's all open source hardware, as you saw from the logo. So all of the source code is up as usual on my GitHub account. At least it should be. If it's not as of this video posting, I will do it as soon as I can, certainly before I sell anything at the very least. But I hope that's been helpful to everybody. If you like this video, give it the big old thumbs up. Whoa, way too close there. But anyways, I will see you all next time.